Good morning, everyone. It's been a long time since I've been live or posting videos. I know it's been very intermittent, but I relocked my hair in Christmas week 2022 after having had locks the year before and then combing them out and then going back to a tapered cut and then letting it grow and then deciding that I wanted the locks back. So I decided that I wanted the locks back because I like the way my face looks better when I have more hair on my head, and I want longer hair without the stress and the drama of taking care of loose natural hair. So I decided to microloc, and this time I was much more easygoing. The first time I was really trying to imitate like the grids that I saw, the Sisterlocks grids, and imitate what I saw other people doing, and while I enjoyed the process and I enjoyed having the locks, it just ended up not really being what I wanted to do. And I also didn't quite like the size. They were very small when I first did them, so I combined some locks, and it took me a long time to find my rhythm, and I had found a loctician to go to for a little while, and that worked out for a little while, but I didn't like the tool that she used. Even though I really enjoyed having someone else do my hair. But I just decided it wasn't for me. But now I'm back because having locks suits my lifestyle a lot better. So I'm a very active person. I run, I walk, I swim in the summer. And so it's just easier if I could just wash my hair really quickly and just not have a whole bunch of fuss. So I locked again. There were some issues, like the other thing that really bothered me the first time was my hairline. So it gets kind of thin right here, right at the temples. And so I struggled with the locks there because they wouldn't lock, they wouldn't stay locked. And I was really focused on perfection. And this time I just, I said, I'm not going to try to imitate anybody else's grid. I'm not going to try to make them perfect, although they're still very neat. Obviously these need to be redone, but I'll turn around and show the back so you can see they're still very neat. But what I did this time is I just did horizontal rows and locked straight across instead of sectioning my hair into 6 or 8 major sections. I just went straight across, and I didn't try to get them all in line. I wanted kind of a brick pattern, but they still are kind of aligned anyway. So I'll turn around and let you see what I've done. And I've tightened the back already. So you can see they're still very neat, but they don't follow like an obvious pattern. And I really like the size of them too. I'm just much more comfortable. It took me 3 days to install. So when I installed them the first time, it was 2020, like in May 2020, and everybody was home. It was a stressful time. It was just really hard to sit down and have that time when my boys were smaller. But now I have a little bit more free time because they're more self-sufficient. And so this time it took me 3 days to get them done. And I think it took a lot less time because I knew what I was doing. So I'm familiar with the pattern, with the interlocking pattern. I use a 4-point rotation, and it was just more familiar. So it was a lot simpler. I am still using this tool. I have another tool that is it the Happy Lock tool? But the eye of the tool is much smaller, so it takes a long time for me to get the lock through, and it hurts my fingers. It's just not my choice anymore. So one of the other decisions I made is to make some of them bigger around the front of my hair, around my hairline, because I've noticed that people who have traditional locks, they usually have a much wider hairline row. Even if the locks in the back are smaller, the hairline, they don't try to have them small in the front because they're taking into account the, I guess, the integrity of the hairline. Oops. So I guess I can't talk and do this at the same time. So one of the things that actually helps me is to close my eyes, because when I have my eyes open, I get a little distracted. But when I close my eyes, I'm feeling, I keep my fingers, my thumb and my forefinger around the lock, so I know where I'm sticking the needle in, and it's easier for me to make sure that I'm not including another lock. I'm not interlocking two locks. One of the other challenges that I have is that I'm still doing some of them too tight, and then I have to go and try to find them because my scalp hurts, and at least loosen them up one rotation. So I'm going to close my eyes again. I keep my thumb, my forefinger here, and then I feel with the tool. Then we go up the bottom, and then I'm going to come from this way, and then I finish down at the top. And then sometimes if I feel like I need another rotation, sometimes I'll just go down again, trying not to go through the same hole so I don't have a Y, which I did that, so I have a little bit of a Y there. And then other times I'll do a 2-point rotation if there's not enough space. So I really let my fingers guide me in where to put the tool in when I'm keeping my eyes closed. And there's that one row done. And this one was actually 2 in the beginning, but they wouldn't stay locked, so I just combined them. I also don't use any wax or anything, or any gels. I use this rose water. I don't have a bigger bottle. That's all they had. And then I have a mixture of castor oil and olive oil in this bottle. Ooh, and I forgot to spray. That was a lot of oil for this one little section. So I'm just going to rub it. And I didn't bring my comb. There's a mirror in front of me if you can't tell, so that's why I'm leaning, because it's easier for me to see. And I just use the edge of my tool to try to straighten out that part a little bit, because sometimes the hairs just do what they want to do and go where they want to go. The other thing, excuse me, that's different about my journey this time is I have more gray hair. Excuse me, and these gray hairs just really do what they want to do. Good morning, thank you for joining. So I'm just talking about my second time around locking my hair and how I retighten. So it's easier for me to keep my eyes closed because I can feel what I'm doing when I'm trying to look. A lot of times that's when I make mistakes. I also find that some areas of my hair are looser at the roots than others. I don't know if it's actually more new growth because I don't know that any one part of my hair grows faster than the other. I used to think that the back grew out faster than the rest. I do find the back is looser more often because it's taking longer to lock, because the back, the nape of my hair, or the nape of my neck, that hair is much softer than the rest of my hair. And so it's just really taking a long time, and it's finer back there. So the locks are thinner on those bottom couple of rows at the nape of my neck, and they're just taking their precious little time. So I don't have a lot of space left. So in order not to make it too tight, I'm just going to do a 2-point. Well, there's more, but I think I'll just do a 2-point rotation so that I don't have to try to go in here and loosen it up later. So I got 2 rows. So this was an area right here where I think before I tried to have a separate lock. I tried to keep this little area in a separate lock. And so instead I just, when I retighten it, I just retighten it so that this part is in the lock as much as possible. And then otherwise I just let it go. I'm not trying to force it to do something. And there's not enough hair right here to have a separate lock anyway. So it would just cause breakage. And I had some breakage the first time I was locked in this area. So the trying to lock that little bit of hair, the whole little piece of hair just fell off. And so, or just broke off. It didn't fall off. It broke off. And I don't want to damage my hair. So I just, this time around, I didn't even try to make it that small. I didn't use my fingers as guides. So, but I do try to come in and sweep from that side to get the hairs from the hairline into the lock. And that's just what it's going to be. I also noticed that other ladies who have locks will like do the baby hair thing, use the gel, and I don't like the baby hair where you have a whole other hairstyle on your forehead, but sometimes I do use a little bit of gel if I'm pulling them back, just to kind of smooth the edges down. But even with that, it only lasts for like a few minutes. Even putting it on and brushing it and tying it down, especially with all the heat and humidity here in North Carolina, my hair just has generally always laughed at edge control. And I haven't tried any ones that I see on Facebook or whatever. But I'm also kind of scared of those. Like, it's the same way I feel about makeup that that doesn't come off. Like, what chemicals are in here that's making it stay? And should this really be on my skin and seeping into my body? And what kind of long-term effects is it going to have? And is my hair eventually going to come out, or is my skin eventually going to have some issues because I wanted my hair to be perfect? So I definitely want to be neat and cute, but I have to decide, try to think about the long-term consequences of that. Oh, this one's going to be a little bit tight. Oops. Yeah, Yeah, it's gonna be tight. What I love about this set is the size. I love the fullness. It's 6 months in, and it's very full, especially at the back. So I'm really excited about what they'll look like when they get longer. I'm gonna turn this light off in the back. Yeah, you can see a little bit better there. So and I believe they'll continue to get fuller as they mature. So they're not, you know, they're not mature yet, but they're definitely locking. Some in the back are locking faster than some in the front, which makes sense because I leave the back alone more than I leave the front alone. Usually, oh man, I just tore a nail. Shoot. Usually I'll have, I'll like braid this back and braid this back or something, so that, just because I don't want all my hair kind of coming on my face, just the way I like to wear them. But I recognize that I need to, I've been trying the last couple of weeks to just let them be free in the front because so that they can lock properly. So I just sprayed my rose water spray. Oops, that's kind of hard to see. Heritage Store rose water spray. I don't know why this is. Oh well. Oh well. And this is the main area right here where it's thin. So I just put a, uh-oh, I'm being summoned. It's breakfast time. I hear my little one looking for me. So yeah, I'll just leave it here. This is my 6-month update. I'll come back and share a picture when I've got it all locked so you can see what it looks like and where I am. And yeah, all right, thank you. Have a great day.